What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JoeyH podcast. Today, we got a very special guest with us today, Andreas Rico, otherwise known as Rico Raw Footage on Instagram. How are you today?
I'm doing well, bro. I'm happy to be here, fam.
Uh,
Glad to
thank you,
be
man.
here.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
Sir, bro.
So, yeah, for sure. So, first, I want to start off before you were a photographer, you were a football player. You started out as a football player. What drove you towards that?
Just not playing football anymore at the next level. I just had to find something to kind of like do with my life, and I was torn between not being able to play any longer. So kind of like digging deep, mentally trying to figure out what I really like to do outside of football. A lot of football players, kind of struggle with that. They don't really know, what else they like to do or what else they could, pursue outside of football. I had a head start, and so anyway, I found, I just realized that I'm an artistic person. I love photos. I always had an eye for a photo, and it started off with my iPhone 11, bro. The iPhone 11 had the point 0.5 camera, and I used to freaking use it crazy. Obviously, photography, there's so much different avenues like sports, and then once I kind of like pinpointed that the photography and being able to still stay around football, I just I went for it head like right away, head first into this, and so I started off in sports photography, football, primarily. Yeah, bro. Since then it's grown into something much larger, and I'm blessed, bro.
All right, great to hear. Great to hear. Now, when you were a football player, what position were you and who did you try to model your game after?
Mm, well, I was a defensive end, outside linebacker, hybrid kind of guy. I played all like the whole defensive line throughout my years, primarily an outside guy. Honestly, I always like when I was a high school kid, 16, 17 years old, I always looked up to Aaron Donald because Aaron Donald is one of those, 5'11" guys. I was only 6 foot. I wasn't getting any taller. I'm still 6 foot, maybe 6'1" on a good day, depending on my shoes, But Aaron Donald was, especially in that time, I was in high school during the 2016, 2017, 2018 at Los Angeles Rams. And that was, prime years of Aaron Donald. So anyway, Aaron Donald was like my kind of like my motivation because I knew that I was an undersized lineman and I didn't want to play linebacker, even though I ended up like transitioning into a hybrid role on the defense. I always wanted to be like Aaron Donald, just strictly defensive line, pass rush, just a threat.
I got you. I got you. Now, uh I'm gonna I'm gonna guide with my questions. I'm gonna guide the audience to where we first met. Before we met at St. Thomas, you started out your high school career at Piper High School. What was it like playing football for them throughout your years there, and then leading to you eventually transferring to St. Thomas?
It was good, man. It's all a part of the journey. It was an experience. It was great to be a part of those teams. A lot of talented players. We started off as I think it was like a 3-7 or a 2-8 or a 1-9. I think even something crazy like that. A super low record team my sophomore year, and then the following year we were a playoff team. So it was fun to kind of like be a part of that group that made a difference the following year. We had a couple guys signing some schools, so it was definitely fun to be a part of. And it was a part of the journey. To be honest, St. Thomas is another animal, and not everybody can go there and flourish right away. It's just the facts. So I was thankful to went to Piper because the reason I even had a chance to even play for St. Thomas was because I played at Piper first, and we played them 2 years in a row, and I had good games against them, and it worked out. So it was definitely good to play on that team.
Right, right. Now, eventually, you for your senior season, you decide to transfer to St. Thomas Aquinas, and in that year, that was the year 2019 where you guys went 15-0, is that correct?
15-0. Yep.
And you guys won the state and national championships. So, tell me what that experience was like. You guys uh, going up to Daytona, winning the state championship, and then you guys were able to fly out to Las Vegas and play St. Louis school. Tell me as a high school kid, what were those experiences like? What did it open your eyes to?
That's a great question, Joey. So I actually transferred in my junior season right after football season. So I got there spring, which actually I was really thankful for because I was able to get, acclimated to the school. But that whole experience was life changing. Me going to St. Thomas completely changed my life. I was an inner city public school kid. I used to slack off in class. I kind of like had a lot more freedom. It wasn't a structured school. So going to but deeper than football, going to a school like St. Thomas completely changed my outlook on everything. Just being in that environment, a lot of kids come from wealthy families, a lot of different experiences that I'm able to be a part of because I'm in that environment. And it was completely the best thing that ever happened to me at that age, from 16 to 17 years old. And then on the football side, it was a complete 180. It's dominance, it's structure, it's championship mindset, it's winning, and then that's it. That's the standard. There's no other way to put it. There's no other, it's strictly just winning football, and that's it. And you play against the best of the best every single day. Every single
Absolutely.
day. It's and that alone is deeper and much better, in my opinion, than playing and being the man on a lower level school or inner city school that doesn't really have too much action. You go at St. Thomas, you're playing against the best of the best. You got kids that my teammates are in the NFL right now,
Yeah.
or if they're not, they're doing really good in college and they have, crazy NIL deals and things like that. So it was a completely life-changing experience. And then, to speak on like, the traveling to, and to Daytona and to Las Vegas and even to Jacksonville and to California. And we played the top schools in the country, and we were able to win. It's just it's one of those things that you talk about the rest of your life. Deeper than football, it's the relationships you built with those guys. Because it's a family. I mean, I still talk to the same dudes I play ball with. And everybody's in different places in life. Everybody's doing different things. Some people are still playing ball. Some people aren't. Some people have kids. Some people don't. That whole brotherhood and the whole team mindset and just still kind of staying connected is just it's a life-changing experience for sure.
That's awesome, man. That's great to hear. Yeah, and one thing I'd like to piggyback off of is, you know, just being at St. Thomas, my experience there is just that, they really do structure you, and it's like I've always gotten the fact that, like every single year it's state championship or bust, you know what I mean? There is no in between. And I feel like Coach Harriet, he's really instilled that in the players there. So
Yep.
then after high school, you attend Florida State, but you didn't play football. What led to your decision to stop playing football? I know you kind of answered this in the beginning, but just go in depth a little more as to why you decided to stop.
Yeah, so I didn't end up going to Florida State. I did go to school in Tallahassee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's all right. That's all right. Basically, there's a couple different factors. A lot of it was, injuries that I never was able to really overcome with my shoulder, a little bit with my groin, but mainly my shoulder. Like a lot of people don't know, I was, kind of battling like a rotator cuff issue. I was obviously, a defensive lineman, so that consistent contact on it. But just I wanted to go to school to in Tallahassee. I didn't have the test score for Florida State, and I didn't get a scholarship offer from FAMU. I went to school at TCC, and then the goal was to transfer to FAMU and go. And I kind of like started talking to the coaches. I had the whole plan and things like that. I even went to a tryout, things like that. I was going to be a PWO. That was like kind of like my mindset, my goal. It didn't end up playing out that way because I was already so far away from football, prior, and then just the risk of injuring again, and I just kind of had one foot in for football, one foot out for entrepreneurship. It ended up just working out for me as an entrepreneur, and it was kind of heartbreaking a little bit, because I did want to play, and I just a lot of it was my fault, and not being prepared from high school to go to college. Test scores were a big thing that prevented me from early on. That's kind of how it played out, but it ended up working out for me because I ended up going to trade school, getting a certificate in Adobe and digital design, and then I picked up a camera, and the rest is history.
All right, all right. That's great to hear. I I remember all those years back you said I asked you like where are you going to college and you told me Tallahassee and off the top of my head I thought oh he's going to Florida State but
I
then
wanted to, yeah, I wanted to go to Florida State. I thought FAMU would have been a better option for me.
I got you.
But I went through the whole process, like literally, like I was involved with, like trying to get acclimated to the school, and try to go to, the team. And I would do a lot of like things, like even though I wasn't a student, and the goal was to like, kind of like transition that way, but it just honestly didn't work out.
I got you. I got you. And I appreciate you opening up about that. After you got your certificate from your trade school, you start filming your alma mater, the St. Thomas football team. What led you to do that?
Once I, moved back home, just kind of like trying to stay involved, and I was still fairly new to photography and videography. I hadn't really been doing it that long. I hadn't really been taking it serious, uh, you know, to that extent to where I could be like a full-time shooter. I was honestly in the process of becoming an assistant manager at Publix. That was kind of like the steps I was taking because I had to obviously make ends meet while trying to still like pursue a hobby, and entrepreneurship. I just finished school. That was also another reason why football kind of didn't play out. I was working in a grocery store, trying to make it into the corporate side. So anyway, not to get off track, basically getting around St. Thomas again, it was kind of fairly new to have that kind of media attention in house. We never had like an in house shooter. Obviously you got like Jay Wimbrow, who's been there for years now. And he, I think if I'm not mistaken, he started off, or no, he started the whole like in house thing at the school at St. Thomas. Because before then, we never had like an in house media guy or a media
Right.
team. So anyway, it was a good opportunity. Coach Russell got the athletic director position. Obviously, he was my linebacker coach when I played. So him, being able to transition to a role like that, definitely helped my case. I'm one of his players. I played with his son. I mean, I went to his house before. So that's my guy, and he saw that like I had like a drive, and he wanted me to help out, and I wanted to help out, and he helped me out ultimately, and that's how I kind of started.
All right. All right. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Coach Russell for sure,
For
man.
sure.
And
Shout out to Russell. Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned like they never had an in-house media guy because I remember like I think my freshman and sophomore year when I was at St. Thomas, like, I don't think it was until my junior or senior year until when Jay Wimbrow started coming around, like my freshman and sophomore year, we would have like, different guys from different networks come, like
Yeah.
Footballville Nation, Pressure Athletics,
Right. Right.
but they were never associated with the school, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So it's cool that Coach Russell saw the drive in you and he let you do your thing at St. Thomas for sure.
Yeah.
uh
Sure.
now now you are doing photography like you said after St. Thomas. Now you are doing photography professionally. So like my question to you is as far as it goes with that, like what can we expect from you in the future?
Well, I mean, I've been at it. I mean, I graduated high school 6 years ago, which is even crazy to say, bro. 6 years. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, within that 6 years, you know, now I'm a full-time entrepreneur from, just the different phases I've taken throughout life. So that already was a journey of its own. Uh Now I'm at a level in my career where I, obviously want to continue to grow. So to answer your question, what you can expect is a full production company where, I'm not just one shooter. It's a movement, it's a brand, you know, and we have coverage for all types of events and all types of shoots and all types of different avenues of photography and videography. I really want to, invest my time into helping other shooters, helping people, get to a next level that they aspire to be at in this industry. I was once there and I'm still there. I still look up to other shooters that are doing it even larger than I'm doing it. I want to help others, get to that point as well.
All right, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now, I do have one question that was not one of the questions I wrote down. I do want to ask you, one of your clients, and you talked about how some of your old teammates, they're in the NFL right now. One of your clients right now is one of your old teammates, which is the edge rusher for the Minnesota Vikings, Dallas
Yep.
Turner.
Yep.
So, and this year, I believe you were able to go up to Minnesota to shoot him for one of his games. So,
Yep.
I do want to ask you, what is your relationship like with him?
Oh man, that's my homie, man. That's my brother. I wouldn't even call him a client. You know what I mean? That's the homie. Humble dude. He made it, and he's humble enough and just solid and down to earth to where he brings his people with him. He can literally call anybody to do his visuals. Anybody, but he calls me. And it means a lot to me. And just the relationship that we have. Throughout the years. And it just bro, having someone that's just like playing at that level and bringing you along to experience that kind of thing. It just it's an experience of its own, bro. I never ever thought in my life I'd be going to Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, just but because my homie plays, and I'm able to do that. I'm able to go look at some orange and yellow leaves on trees, and and be in the cold, and it's fun, man. It's definitely, and just the whole environment of being sidelined on an NFL game, being on the field before he's going out there, dapping him up, seeing the whole team in uniform. It's an experience that not everybody gets. So I'm super grateful. And again, like, it's deeper than, the business that we do, but it's that's like, that's on a personal level. That's my homie. Like, that's my brother. Definitely, super grateful for the things he's brought me along to. And, we got some things cooking up for sure, though. I could say that. We got some things cooking up. Yeah.
All right. All right. I got you. I got
Yeah. We
you.
got some things cooking up. Yep.
All right. All right. I won't do too much arm twisting on that, but
Yeah.
my last question, before we end this interview, I asked this question to almost everyone that comes on my platform. Uh, I do want to ask you, what motivates you?
What motivates me? Damn, that's a deep question. That's a deep question. A
Yeah.
lot of things motivate me, but I would say what really motivates me the most is being able to give my child the life that I wasn't able to have all the time as a kid for my with my parents. And my parents did the best they could. They did a great job. I'm not saying that I had the worst childhood, but I definitely had up and down moments. And that what the motivation I have is to just, I don't want my child to even know what a bill is. I want them to just be a kid. I want them to grow. I don't want any kind of, indication of struggle or hardship, and that really motivates me. Other than that, I just want greater for myself and for the people around me. I want to. I like to be known to provide, and I like to be known to care for others and take care of my people. And in order for me to do that, I have to have myself to a certain standard and a certain level of success in order to do that. That's like one of the biggest things, is being able to have that drive for myself to be able to help others in my inner circle, my family, and even, random people, like I want to be able to do that because it feels good. So those are like the things that kind of motivate me for sure.
That's great, man. That's great. The reason why I asked that question to people that come on my platform because I interview all types of people, and I have a curious mind. I'm generally curious because, some people say, like you said, they want to be a provider. That motivates them. Some people say the haters motivate them. Some people say, you know, their past motivates them, or the future motivates them. Like, it's all over the place. It's an open-ended answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I appreciate you. That's one of the best answers I've heard. That's really good, man.
I appreciate
So,
that, man. Yeah,
yeah, no problem for sure. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. And Rico, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day for doing this, man. I
of
really
course, bro.
appreciate it.
Yeah, bro, and real quick, I'll let the people know, man. I was a senior when you were, I think, a sophomore, or were you a freshman?
I was a sophomore.
Sophomore. So we had art class together. I had an
Right.
elective. It was only me and Seamus, an RP to Seamus.
For sure.
Only me and Seamus were the only seniors in that class. Somehow, some way, we ended up in a class with sophomores with our elective. Nah, man, I want to shout you out too, bro. You're doing something great, and I think you should be really proud of yourself. And I'm proud of you. Just going back. I mean, you were 15, 14, 15 years old, bro. I mean, and I was 17, and now I'm, almost 24.
Yeah.
And time's flying. It's already flown, and I'm super, happy and proud of you, bro. And I think you're doing dope things. And bro, keep interviewing people, and any way I can help you out, bro. I'm always down to. And yeah, bro, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? This is dope. It's humbling, and I'm super super glad to be a part of this, bro. So I can't wait for the next one. And on a bigger level, when you got to get me in person and you got a whole setup, and
Yeah, exactly.
so it's gonna be a lot of cool things. I'll reach out to the Dallas Turner. I don't know if you interviewed him yet.
No, I haven't.
I'll reach out to him and see if he could get you a quick interview.
Yeah, man. I would love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm always down to interview an NFL player. You know what I mean? Because that will ultimately be what grows my platform for sure, man. So
yeah,
if you can make that happen, I greatly appreciate it for sure.
yeah, bro. I got you, bro. I'll reach out to him for sure, bro. 100%.
All right. Well, thank you. And again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day. And have a great day.
Hold on, do that one more time, Joey. Let me get you on the gram.
I
Hold
got you. I
on,
got you, man. I
hold
got you.
on.
I got you.
Ready? All right, and do it again. Go.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day. And as always, thank you to Rico for taking time out of your day to do this interview.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and have a great day, guys.
Yes, sir.